In combat sports, there's an unwritten code of honor. Some choose to cross the line, resorting to dirty tactics, showboating, and disrespect. Today, we'll show the moments when the dirtiest rats in fighting got humbled for their pre-fight rat acts. Let's go. Number 1. Sergey Kovalev versus Jean Pascal. Jean Pascal, a former champion, was known for his flashy style and trash talk. In the lead up to the fight, he repeatedly taunted Kovalev, flipping his hat off in a not-so-perfect attempt. As the bell rang in Montreal's Bell Centre, Pascal's hometown crowd roared with anticipation. However, Kovalev, true to his crusher moniker, quickly silenced them. A devastating right hand sent Pascal stumbling to the canvas in the third round.
He sets it up with that straight left to the body, and he's looking to come over top.
Round after round, Kovalev's punches found their mark, turning Pascal's face into a swollen mess. By the end of the round, Pascal was taking unanswered shots, prompting referee Louise Pabon to stop the fight.
Да, вот то, что требуется. Бон останавливает бой.
Number 2. Joel Casamayor versus Juan Manuel Marquez. Joel Casamayor, a Cuban Olympic gold medalist, was trash-talking a lot. In the build-up to the fight, he initiated a brawl during the press conference by again attempting to flip Marquez's hat. On the fight day, the first few rounds were competitive, with Casamayor landing some sharp counters.
He can. Long left hand, and he takes a left hand in return, does Marquez.
But Marquez slowly began to solve the Cuban style. In the 11th round, a vicious right hand from Marquez sent Casamayor crashing to the canvas. Although he bravely got up, Marquez swarmed him with a flurry of punches, forcing the referee to stop the fight.
A lot of times people see a brawl, they think that's a good fight. And he drops him with a big right hand. Big right hand. He's in the last 20 seconds. Got 20 seconds to go. Marquez will come in for the jump on him. Tries to get him turned. It won't take a lot. Marquez trying to finish the deal here. Remember, Casamayor has never been knocked out. He's down again. And that's it. It's over. Juan Manuel Marquez is the champion.
Number 3. Adam Azim versus Ryan Charlton. The 2022 bout between Adam Azim and Ryan Charlton was a classic case of youth versus experience, with a hefty dose of hubris thrown in. Charlton's trash talk reached its peak at the final press conference, where he referred to Azim as a boy among men and promised to knock him out within 3 rounds.
I'm not the geezer to call people out, but it had to be done. Being myself, being Adam Azim, I'm ready.
But when the bell rang at Alexandra Palace in London, Azim wasted no time in proving Charlton wrong. Midway through the first round, a lightning-fast right hand sent Charlton to the canvas.
The jab from the waist, plants it down the middle.
Then, in the second round, Azim continued his onslaught. Another right hand dropped Charlton again, and though he bravely rose once more, Azim didn't let up. A final flurry of punches forced the referee to stop the contest, giving Azim a TKO victory and teaching Charlton a harsh lesson about underestimating young talent.
Do something to stay out in the open, and the right hand comes over the top. Down he goes. The towel came in anyway as he just missed.
Number 4. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. The 2021 boxing match between YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul and former MMA champion Ben Askren was a collision of two worlds. Askren, with his Olympic wrestling background and MMA experience, openly mocked Paul's boxing aspirations. He repeatedly called Paul a Disney kid and promised to expose him as a fraud in the ring.
Bro, you were 36.
Paul, known for his brash personality, gave as good as he got in the trash talk department. However, many in the combat sports world sided with Askren.
Anyways, I would do a homicide on you if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. That's what I came for. Jake thinks he's a high-level boxer. I think he's fairly delusional. I guess we'll find out.
You will find out very quickly and in a violent fashion, and you will embarrass the sport of MMA. You are representing the UFC. This is personal. You know, the whole MMA community.
You're trying to make me represent the sport of MMA
you are
or
representing
UFC.
the sport. Dana White is betting money on you. He's trying to get trainers to actually help you train so that you can beat me. So you are representing the sport of MMA. You are an MMA fighter. Just like I'm representing the sport of boxing because I'm a boxer. Just like I'm representing celebrities and YouTubers because I'm a celebrity and a YouTuber. So I'm representing all of those things. So you are representing them, and you will see boxing conquer.
You get through Jake Paul, what's next in your boxing career? Do you go for the big brother Logan Paul?
When the bell rang in Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it quickly became clear that the doubters had severely underestimated Paul's dedication to his new craft. Just over a minute into the first round, Paul unleashed a devastating right hand that caught Askren flush on the jaw, knocking him down in the very first round. The referee, seeing Askren's condition, waved off the fight. This might be the only time Jake Paul has ever won in his life.
Jake Paul sparred with former world champion Jean Pascal and also cruiserweight contender.
Get my motherfucking money, Jake! What a ride is here!
And this one is over!
Number 5. Michael Zerafa versus Isaac Hardman. The 2022 IBF middleweight title eliminator between Michael Zerafa and Isaac Hardman was preceded by one of the most heated build-ups in recent Australian boxing history. Hardman repeatedly insulted Zerafa, calling him a dog and promising to end his career. The bad blood culminated in a brawl at the pre-fight press conference, where Hardman attempted to physically intimidate Zerafa. Number 6. Dimitri Bivol versus Jean Pascal. In 2018, champion Dimitri Bivol and challenger Jean Pascal fought for the WBA light heavyweight title. Pascal, a former champion looking to reclaim glory, tried every trick in the book to get under Bivol's skin. At the weigh-in, Pascal got in Bivol's face, shouting insults and promising to dethrone the young champion. Even during the fight, Pascal continued his antics, hitting his own chest at one point in the later rounds and calling for Bivol to hit him harder.
Tomorrow night, live on HBO World Championship Boxing, 12 rounds scheduled.
As the rounds wore on, Bivol's consistency began to wear Pascal down. By the championship rounds, it was clear that Pascal's pre-fight confidence had been misplaced. After 12 rounds, Bivol was awarded a wide unanimous decision victory.
Dimitri Bivol!
Number 7. Shane Cameron versus Monty Barrett. The 2012 bout between New Zealand's Shane Cameron and American veteran Monty Barrett was for the WBO Asia Pacific and WBA Pan-African heavyweight titles, but the real prize was respect in the heavyweight division. Barrett, a former world title challenger, came into the fight full of confidence. He continuously mocked Cameron in the build-up, calling him a kangaroo and claiming that fighting the Kiwi was like a door trying to slam a flea. In the next fight, both fighters had their moments in the early rounds, with Barrett's experience matching Cameron's home crowd advantage. However, as the fight progressed into the fourth round, Cameron began to find his rhythm. He started to time Barrett's movements, patiently waiting for an opening. That opening came midway through the round when Barrett dropped his guard slightly after throwing a jab. Cameron seized the moment, unleashing a perfectly timed overhand right that caught Barrett flush on the chin.
Shane Cameron in the...
Number 8. Darchinyan versus Nonito Donaire. The 2007 IBF and IBO flyweight title between Darchinyan and Nonito Donaire was a classic case of an undefeated champion underestimating a hungry challenger. Darchinyan, known as the Raging Bull, entered the bout with a perfect 28-0 record and a reputation for devastating knockouts.
Just save your money, guys. Don't bet anything. You just see what I'm gonna do with him. I'm coming just destroy him.
In the lead up to the fight, Darchinyan's trash talk reached new heights. He vowed to smash and destroy Donaire, even going as far as to say he hoped Donaire would walk out by his legs from the ring. The Armenian fighter's confidence was sky high, and many boxing pundits expected him to steamroll the relatively unknown Donaire. However, Donaire, nicknamed the Filipino Flash, had other plans. From the opening bell, he showed he wasn't intimidated by Darchinyan's reputation or trash talk. Donaire's speed and movement gave the champion problems, and he began to time Darchinyan's wild swings. In the fifth round, Darchinyan's aggression became his undoing. Donaire saw his opportunity. He ducked under Darchinyan's punch and came up with a perfect left hook that caught the champion flush on the jaw. Darchinyan crashed to the canvas, his undefeated record shattered in an instant.
Struggling to get to his feet. In terrible shape, it's all over. It's all over. Nonito Donaire has pulled off the monstrous upset.
Number 9. Sonny Bill Williams versus Clarence Tillman. It was a cultural event in New Zealand in 2012 against Sonny Bill Williams versus Clarence Tillman. Williams, a rugby union star, was making waves in boxing, while Tillman, an American journeyman with far more boxing experience, was brought in as a step up in competition for Williams. However, Tillman seemed more interested in mind games than preparation. During the pre-fight face-off, Tillman shocked everyone by shoving Williams and throwing a punch, sparking a brief melee. This act of aggression was Tillman's way of asserting dominance, but it only served to focus on Williams' determination. When fight night came at the Clydellans Arena in Hamilton, New Zealand, the tension was palpable. As soon as the bell rang, Williams showed that Tillman's intimidation tactics had backfired. Midway through the first round, a flurry of punches from Williams had Tillman reeling against the ropes. With Tillman offering no resistance and unable to protect himself, the referee had no choice but to stop the fight.
Sonny Boulevard is a boxer. Well, and Tillman looks like it's all over. And you can look again for yourself. The fans love it. They're on their feet.
Number 10. Giovanni Andrade versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. The 2009 fight between Giovanni Andrade and Guillermo Rigondeaux was a classic matchup of brash confidence versus cold, calculated skill. Rigondeaux, a two-time Olympic gold medalist from Cuba, was making his professional debut amid much fanfare. Andrade, seeing an opportunity to make a name for himself, tried to rattle the decorated amateur. From the moment he entered the ring, Andrade was a ball of energy, yelling taunts at Rigondeaux and making exaggerated gestures. As the bell rang, Rigondeaux's laser focus was evident. In the early moments of the fight, Andrade continued his showboating, dropping his hands and inviting Rigondeaux to hit him. Midway through the third round, Rigondeaux saw his opening. As Andrade wound up for a wild haymaker, Rigondeaux slipped the punch and countered with a perfect left hand to the body. The punch landed with surgical precision on Andrade's liver, causing him immense pain. He was struggling to stand still, calling off the fight.
Andrade opts to go down, and now he's wincing in pain. He does get up. Didn't seem like it was a particularly vicious shot, but who are we to say?
He's shaking his head, he's quitting.
And it's it, that's it.
He's quitting.
Unfortunate.
Number 11, Vitaly Klitschko versus Manuel Charr. The 2012 WBC heavyweight title between Vitaly Klitschko and Manuel Charr was meant to be a showcase for the champion, but Charr had other ideas. In the lead up to the fight, Charr employed every trick in the book to get under Klitschko's skin, from insulting his family to making outlandish predictions about the fight. At the weigh-in, Charr tried to physically intimidate Klitschko, getting in his face and shoving him. Klitschko, ever the professional, remained calm, but the tension was palpable. When the fight began in Moscow's Olympic indoor arena, Klitschko's composure translated into dominance in the ring. His jab kept Charr at bay, and his right hand found its mark with increasing frequency as the rounds progressed. Charr, frustrated by his inability to get past Klitschko's reach, resorted to dirty tactics. He threw punches after the bell in multiple rounds, drawing warnings from the referee and boos from the crowd.
Вот, смотрите, достаточно опасные левой сбоку.
In the fourth round, Klitschko's patience paid off. A powerful left hook opened a nasty cut over Charr's right eye. Blood immediately began pouring down Charr's face, obscuring his vision. The ringside doctor examined the cut and advised the referee to stop the fight, much to Charr's protests.
Так, рефери какой-то о состоянии боксера.
Этот бой будет жаль.
Будет жаль.
Судя по рисунку.
Вышел Кличко, встал между боксерами. Принц Дунок пытается успокоить Мануэля Чарра.
Number 12, Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye. The 2011 heavyweight unification bout between Vladimir Klitschko and David Haye was years in the making, largely due to Haye's relentless trash talk and provocative actions. Haye had been chasing a fight with the Klitschko brothers for years, going so far as to wear a t-shirt depicting himself holding their severed heads. In the build-up to the fight, Haye refused to shake Klitschko's hand at press events. He also made rude remarks about Klitschko's family and promised to end the Ukrainian's career.
You guys want to shake hands to begin this? Can I get you to shake hands?
You know, you can shake
You want to give
me
you a hand?
I'll shake you down on July 2nd.
When they finally met in the ring at Hamburg's Imtech Arena, the difference in their approaches became clear. Klitschko controlled the fight from the outset with his ramrod jab and powerful right hand. As the rounds wore on, Haye's pre-fight bravado seemed increasingly hollow. He spent much of the fight on the back foot, occasionally falling to the canvas to avoid Klitschko's punches. In the latter rounds, Haye blamed his poor performance on a toe injury, further diminishing his credibility. After 12 one-sided rounds, Klitschko was awarded a unanimous decision victory, unifying the WBA, IBF, WBO, and the ring heavyweight titles. The scorecards reflected Klitschko's dominance and served as a stark rebuke to Haye's years of trash talk.
To the final bell, both of them raise their arms, perhaps more out of optimism than belief raises his hand.
Number 13. Magsayo versus Rafael Reyes. The 2016 IBF Youth Featherweight title fight between Magsayo and Rafael Reyes was a classic example of youthful arrogance meeting skilled determination. Reyes, confident in his abilities, decided to employ psychological warfare against the Filipino prospect Magsayo. From the opening bell, Reyes' strategy became clear. He repeatedly dropped his guard, stuck out his chin, and invited Magsayo to hit him. Between the exchanges, Reyes would taunt Magsayo, laughing off his punches and asking for more.
Keep hitting me. Oh, now he caught up. He got into trouble with that overhand right.
Getting cocky itong si Reyes.
However, Magsayo's corner advised him to ignore Reyes' antics and focus on his game plan. In the third round, Magsayo caught Reyes with a sharp counter right hand that sent the showboating fighter to the canvas. Although Reyes beat the count, his cocky demeanor had noticeably diminished. Undeterred by the knockout, Reyes continued his taunting in the following rounds, but with less enthusiasm. Magsayo, growing in confidence, began to time Reyes' showboating moments perfectly. In the fifth round, as Reyes dropped his hands to gesture to the crowd, Magsayo unleashed a devastating combination. A left hook stunned Reyes, followed by a straight right that sent him crashing to the canvas. This time, Reyes couldn't beat the count, earning a life lesson of never to taunt anyone.
Reyes in trouble. What an uppercut! What a shot!
Number 14. Marku versus Tommy Broadbent. The 2020 welterweight clash between Albania's Marku and Britain's Tommy Broadbent was supposed to be a stepping stone for the undefeated Marku. However, Broadbent had other ideas, turning the 6-round bout into a showcase of cockiness that ultimately backfired. From the opening bell, Broadbent's strategy became clear. He was going to try to get into Marku's head. He began showboating almost immediately, dropping his hands, sticking out his chin, and even turning his back on Marku at times. To his credit, Marku remained focused on the task at hand. He continued to press forward, landing solid shots whenever Broadbent's showboating left him exposed. However, Broadbent's unorthodox style made it difficult for Marku to find a rhythm, and the rounds remained competitive. In the final round, Marku's patience paid off. Feinting with his jab, Marku got Broadbent to lean back, then unleashed a vicious left hook to the body. The punch landed perfectly on Broadbent's liver, causing him to crumble to the canvas in agony. Despite his earlier bravado, Broadbent was unable to get up. Number 15. Marco Antonio Barrera versus Kennedy McKinney. The 1996 WBO Super Bantamweight title fight between Marco Antonio Barrera and Kennedy McKinney was a clash of styles both in and out of the ring. McKinney, an Olympic gold medalist, was known for his trash talk and brash personality. Barrera, despite his young age of 22, was already developing a reputation as a cool, calculated fighter.
You cannot put me here in my town.
In the lead-up to the fight, McKinney unleashed a torrent of insults towards Barrera. He mocked Barrera's English, questioned his toughness, and promised to send him back to Mexico in a sombrero. Barrera, for his part, remained calm, letting McKinney's words wash over him. When the bell rang at the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California, McKinney's confidence seemed justified. He used his superior reach and Olympic-level boxing skills to outpoint Barrera in the early rounds.
Opens with a left hook, his trademark punch. Here it is.
Doubled up with that right hand, lands a...
But Barrera started his machine of punches. He proceeded to knock McKinney down 4 times over the course of the fight, each time punctuated by vicious combinations. By the 12th round, a final flurry from Barrera sent McKinney to the canvas for the 5th time, prompting the referee to stop the fight.
McKinney is a weak fighter now. Barrera knows it.
And that's it.
Number 17, Ashley Sexton versus Usman Ahmed. The January 2010 bout between Ashley Sexton and Usman Ahmed at York Hall in London became an instant viral sensation, but not for the reasons Ahmed had hoped. On fight night, Ahmed took his showmanship to new heights with an entrance that would make even Prince Naseem Hamed blush. He even danced around the ring like he was going to own this ring, with his performance completely underestimating the Sexton. Once the fight began, it quickly became clear that Ahmed's boxing skills didn't match his showmanship. Sexton, a no-nonsense fighter with a solid amateur pedigree, wasted no time in taking control of the bout. Just over a minute into the first round, Sexton saw his opening. As Ahmed lazily dropped his hands after throwing a jab, Sexton unleashed a perfectly timed overhand right that caught Ahmed flush on the chin. The impact was devastating, sending Ahmed crashing straight behind like a dead body.
It's the right hand, and he's been having success with that. It's the opening bell! Oh, what a knockout! No way he'll get up from that. Fight's over! Ashley Sexton!
Number 18, Peter Graham versus Badr Hari. The March 2006 K1 World Grand Prix match between Peter Graham and Badr Hari was a clash of styles and personalities that would go down in kickboxing history. Hari, only 21 at the time, was already developing a reputation as a talented but volatile fighter. His pre-fight antics reached new lows when he not only verbally insulted Graham, but also instigated a physical altercation at the press conference. As the fight began in Osaka, Japan, Hari's confidence seemed justified. He used his reach advantage and technical striking to keep Graham at bay, landing several clean shots in the first round. Hari's cockiness grew with each successful exchange, and he began to showboat, dropping his hands and taunting Graham. However, Graham had a secret weapon in his arsenal, a technique called the Rolling Thunder. With Hari backing him up against the ropes, Graham suddenly launched into a backflip, bringing his heels down into Hari's head in a spectacular rolling kick. The impact was devastating, catching Hari completely off guard. He crumbled to the canvas, knocked out cold.
원활히 주심이 맞을 뻔했어요. 못 일어납니다. 이거 못 일어나요. 경기 종료. 끝났습니다 이거. 핑크그래요. 정말 백스핀 킹 빼고.
Number 19, Shane Mosley versus Ricardo Mayorga. The 2008 junior middleweight bout between Shane Mosley and Ricardo Mayorga was billed as a clash between two faded former champions looking for one last shot at glory.
Papá, finito ya, no más papá. I'm not gonna have a dad anymore.
Mayorga, known as much for his outrageous behavior, insulted Mosley's family, made crude gestures at press conferences, and even pretended to smoke cigarettes during training sessions.
His face, man, come on, that's bad. Come on, man, it's an athlete. Come on, man. What's wrong with you, man?
When the fight began at the Home Depot Center in Carson, California, the difference in preparation was evident. Mosley, despite being 37, looked sharp and focused. Mayorga, on the other hand, came out of shape and relied on his usual wild, unorthodox style. By the 6th round, Mayorga's antics had clearly frustrated him more than they had Mosley. In a desperate attempt to get into Mosley's head, Mayorga began shouting insults and making obscene gestures between exchanges. In the final round, Mosley's left hand sent Mayorga into a deep sleep, teaching a lesson that's a bit late but will be remembered his whole life.
And he puts Mayorga on the canvas. That old 12th round magic. And he knocks him down again to finish the fight.
And it's a knockout. The left hook. It's a knockout. He finally got it.
Brilliant stuff by Shane.
Number 20, Tony Bellew versus David Haye. The March 2017 heavyweight clash between Tony Bellew and David Haye at London's O2 Arena was one of the most anticipated British boxing matches of the year. Haye, a former world champion in two weight classes, was heavily favored against Bellew, who was moving up from cruiserweight for the fight. In the lead-up to the bout, Haye's trash talk reached new levels of arrogance. He promised to end Bellew's career, made crude remarks about his opponent's appearance, and even threatened physical harm beyond the confines of the ring. Bellew, known for his own verbal skills, gave as good as he got. When the fight began, Haye's confidence seemed justified. He dominated the early rounds with his superior speed and power, even dropping Bellew in the second round. As the bout progressed, it became clear that something was wrong with Haye. His movement became labored, and it was later revealed that he ruptured his Achilles tendon. Despite this injury, Haye's arrogance didn't diminish. He continued to taunt Bellew, even as his ability to defend himself decreased. Bellew, sensing his opportunity, began to take control of the fight. He landed increasingly clean shots on Haye, who was now struggling to stay upright. In the 11th round, Bellew unleashed a barrage of punches that sent Haye tumbling through the ropes.
This is where Tony needs it. Powerful shots.
And down goes Haye, and physically, can he even get back through the ropes? The count is at 9. The towel's gone in. Tony Bellew.
Number 21, Ronda Rousey versus Holm. The Ratty Retribution takes us to the women's bantamweight division, featuring the shocking upset between Ronda Rousey and Holm at UFC 193 in November 2015. Rousey repeatedly claimed that she could beat any woman in the world, even going as far as to say she could beat male fighters. Her trash talk towards Holm was particularly vicious, promising to teach the former boxing champion a lesson in humility. Number 22, Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 2 was a fluke and promised to dominate him in the rematch.
Anderson Silva saying he tapped. Did he tap or did he not tap?
As the fight began, it seemed Sonnen might make good on his words. He took Silva down early in the first round and controlled him for much of the frame. In the second round, Sonnen attempted another takedown, but Silva was ready. He Number 23, Alexander Usyk versus Marco Huck. The September 2017 bout between Alexander Usyk and Marco Huck was the opening fight of the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight Tournament. At the pre-fight press conference in Berlin, Huck's frustration with being the underdog boiled over. He physically shoved Usyk during a face-off, leading to a brief scuffle that had to be broken up by their respective teams. When the fight began, it quickly became clear that Huck was outmatched. Usyk's superior footwork and technical skills allowed him to control the distance and pace of the fight. By the 10th round, Huck was exhausted and demoralized. Usyk, sensing the finish, unleashed a flurry of punches that had Huck reeling against the ropes. The referee, seeing that Huck was no longer able to defend himself, stepped in to stop the fight.
All of his strength being put to the test. Usyk working away furiously. Shots underneath. Robert stepped in and has waved it off. In the top of his contest.
Number 24, Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely. The August 1995 bout between Mike Tyson and Peter McNeely was one of the most anticipated fights in boxing history, marking Tyson's return to the ring after a 4-year absence due to his imprisonment. In the lead up to the fight, McNeely's trash talk reached legendary proportions. His confidence seemed to border on delusion, giving Tyson's fearsome reputation.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass.
As soon as the bell rang, McKinney rushed at Tyson like a man possessed. Tyson, calm and focused, easily sidestepped the wild attack and countered with a short right hand that sent McKinney crashing to the canvas just seconds into the fight. Tyson, looking every bit the baddest man on the planet, methodically broke McKinney down. Just 89 seconds into the first round, Tyson landed another devastating combination that sent McKinney sprawling to the canvas for a second time. At this point, McKinney's manager, Vinny McKinney, made the controversial decision to enter the ring, automatically disqualifying his fighter. While many criticized this move, it likely saved McKinney from further punishment.
That is a clean shot. Miracle, but a chance nonetheless to beat Mike.
And there are the wobbly legs of Peter McKinney the second time. The ropes held him up there. He could barely stay up. And here's the point where Mills Lane is ushering Tyson over to the neutral corner. And there's Vinny Vecchione, the manager and trainer.
So, which was your favorite fight among all these? Let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.